Welcome, everyone, to our 6th demo day for the Stanford Blockchain Accelerator. The Stanford Blockchain Accelerator is the first and only blockchain-focused accelerator for Stanford students and alumni. We're a 5-month program incubating teams from the ecosystem here. And we've been running for 3 years now, over 75 teams. I think over $500 million have been raised from leading funds. We've had 6 unicorns. So this has been an awesome ride for all of us here. I'm a former exited entrepreneur, Gil Rosen. Pleasure to meet you all. A graduate of Stanford GSB and public policy, also partner at Blockchain Builders Fund. And it's been an honor to work with Stanford founders for the last few years as president and co-lead of the Accelerator with Stephen and Kuhn. I will let Kuhn and Stephen give quick intros, and then we will dive into what we're all here for, which is hearing from our awesome teams.
Awesome. Thank you, Gil. So everyone, my name is Kuhn. I started the Stanford Blockchain Accelerator program about 3 years ago. So it's kind of crazy to see how it grow from day one, first cohort, to today, with such impact, and also the members who graduate from the cohort. With $500 million, 500 million actually raised from some of the best VCs. I also teach a course with Gil and Steven on Stanford on Web3 entrepreneurship, MSc 447, and also part of the MSc department, management science engineering, master there, and also part of the Blockchain Builders Fund. I also founded another initiative called the BAS, Blockchain Application Stanford Summit. So you're stopping by East Denver. We're planning another version of BAS. Yeah, that's all me. Pass the mic to Steven.
Sweet, thanks, Kuhn. Yeah, third amigo here. Good to see everyone again. This has become a twice-a-year joy. I work on all those same projects with Gil and Kuhn. Prior to this, I was team lead at Coinbase Ventures. Prior to that, doing VC at Capital One. Yeah, and just really excited for the show we've got prepped today. So I'll just shut up and get out of the way.
All right, and yeah, as mentioned, we're really passionate about building community for blockchain at Stanford and beyond. To that end, I think Stephen has also shared our X handle. Follow us, and you'll get all the updates on events that we do, recordings, and info about the teams here. Our first team is Compass Labs, and while in general, Compass Labs makes DeFi data and execution accessible via Python, they really do so much more, and they're bringing blockchain really to enterprises overall. We've got Lucas here who's going to share a lot more with you about everything that they've been working on, and it's super exciting. Lucas, why don't you take it away?
So when you're presenting, just raise your hand, and we'll unmute yourself or make you a co-host. Sorry for raise your hand like on Zoom, so I know who you are and your name will pop. And cool. Now I'm gonna make you our co-host.
Hey, does this work now?
Yep.
Cool. Okay, let me dive into it. I'm just gonna share my whole screen. I think it's easiest. All right. Does my little presentation show up?
We can see the screen.
Cool. Yeah. Hello, everyone. I'm Lucas. I'm CTO at Compass Labs. I have the pleasure of presenting our company.
We cannot see the screen.
No? Okay,
no.
Wait a second. Share.
Yep, it works now.
Just get me this stuff over here. So you see the presentation now, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. So just to repeat myself, I'm Lucas. I'm CTO at Compass Labs. I have the pleasure of presenting our company to you guys today. So who's Compass Labs? Just a quick intro. We are a team of 8 at the moment. The newest join is not on the slides yet, unfortunately. But yeah, I'm really thankful for the team we have. We have fantastic people from Oxford, Stanford, Google, an engineer from Chain Street who joined us recently. So yeah, really a fantastic team. We're also very lucky to have a bunch of really great investors. We did the Accelerator with A16Z last year. We came initially out of Entrepreneur First, and we have like a whole list of angels and investors that would at this point be too much for this slide, I guess. Cool, but let me jump into what do we do? So what's our mission? So Compass Labs has existed for almost 3 years, so we've done a few things, but our mission has always been one thing that I actually wanted to change here, but I forgot to change it. So our mission is not DeFi is hard. Our mission is to make DeFi easier because we think it is very hard. So there's a lot of technical complexities that we observed. Institutions find it very hard to get onboarded, to hire the right talent. There's a lot of risk involved. If you do things wrong, there is no way to revert. And on top of all of that, the ecosystem is incredibly fragmented, moves very fast, and institutions usually move very slow. So that creates a lot of issues. So what have we built so far? I'm going to keep this short because I actually want to demo something completely new today. But our product for the last 1.5 years has been a Dojo. Dojo is essentially a very comprehensive set of tools to develop and backtest strategies in DeFi. So it is something that runs completely on premise with the customer. Yes, we do have paying customers. It is completely in Python. People don't need to know anything about Solidity. We serve all the historic data of the smart contracts. It's an agent-based platform, and our customers can essentially write very complex stuff on-chain relatively easily with Python functions that are well documented, that also your cursor, your copilot can easily autocomplete. Yeah, and then so you can backtest, you can test strategies. There's a built-in visualization tool. Yeah, it's kind of like an all-in-one package for backtesting. If you're interested in Dojo, I highly recommend our website. There's a lot of information there. I just don't have the time right now to dive into it. Cool. So Dojo has tractions. We have cool, really great partners and customers. But we do think something else is also important, and that's actual execution. So we're building something new at the moment, which I termed the Compass API Kit. Now, what is that? At the heart of it, it's a simple idea. It's a unified API for decentralized finance. Actually, I need to update this. We also have CeFi endpoints now. We can also talk to Binance. But why do we do that? First of all, and it sounds trivial, but it's very important, developers are used to REST APIs. It's very easy to hire talent. It's very standard. People who know how to talk to smart contracts are hard to get, and it's error prone, and also smart contracts are not very easy to talk to because you're usually limited by the interface that Solidity provides. Also, there's a huge movement right now in building agents, and agents can very easily talk to REST APIs. Especially OpenAI has done a lot of work, and I'm going to demo something there in a moment. So how do we do that? We create a huge amount of very nice intuitive endpoints. We are API endpoints. We allow other people to add endpoints. It can do much more than transactions, which we'll see in a second. But in general, it's non-custodial, so it will return a transaction to you that you can sign in whatever fashion you want. Yeah, so just to like highlight this, if you want to like create leverage in Aave, this is the transaction you send to us. We do a whole lot of processing, and we send you the actual smart contract transaction back. Now, this sounds kind of boring, but there's something really cool you can do with this. And that's something we're building on top right now, which is the GPT, which is essentially an AI assistant on top of the API. So you can either talk to our API endpoints, or you can talk to our GPT, and it figures out what you want to do. And I'm going to take the rest of my 2 minutes to demo how that looks like. So just let me see how I can get off this full screen mode. Cool. You should still be seeing my screen, right? Cool. So you see the Compass GPT? Perfect. So this is an AI assistant we built on top of our API the last 2 days. So it's very, very pre-release. Actually finished this an hour ago, but let me just show you what this can do. I actually can ask it, what can you do? And it will take a bit to respond because, again, all of this is written in Python. I'm not really a front-end guy. Let's see. Yeah, so it can tell you, like, it will like guide you what it can in general do, but I can also ask it a lot of interesting things. For example, let me just ask this question. I prepared the questions, it's easier. But you can try this out yourself. It's live as you see the URL. So I can ask it for my portfolio, and it will figure out which endpoints it needs to call to answer this question. And obviously, as we add more endpoints, you can do pretty sophisticated stuff with that. Again, this is going to be faster once it's in production, but let's just give it a second. So, okay, it has answered me a question about my portfolio. But honestly, like, I'm a more visual guy, so I can answer it. I can ask it, maybe, can you visualize this? And we have taught it how to visualize data. So let's give it a second to answer. Okay, so it looks like this wallet has a lot of USDC and a bunch of ETH and a bunch of DAI. Let's pretend I'm a hedge fund guy. I want my portfolio more balanced. So maybe I'll ask it, and I just prepared this question, so it's quicker to type. So I'm just going to ask it to plan a swap such that my portfolio is more balanced. And we should be done in a second. The part I want to get to is eventually it will actually make transactions. So it has suggested me to swap 190 USDC for wrapped ETH at this cost, and I can confirm it's very cautious at the moment. But eventually it will make smart contract transactions for you. It will obviously ask you for your MetaMask, which we should see in a second. Okay, I think I crashed it. Again, this is a very, very re-release prototype, but just to demo what it looks like if it does sign a transaction. I prepared a question that it can definitely answer right now without crashing. Let's give it a second. Cool. So basically my question was, can you increase my token allowance on Arbitrum? And it figured out what to do. I can sign and transact it, sign with MetaMask. And it actually works. Now, what we tried previously. I tried it 5 times. It had never crashed. So I guess it's, yeah, demonstration luck, I guess. But yeah, so this is the idea. Obviously, this can be a lot more powerful. We imagine we're going to integrate all major centralized exchanges, all major DeFi protocols, and a lot of other endpoints and visualizations, interactive elements, alerts if token prices change directly to a Telegram bot. And again, the assistant will be served via the API as well, so people can build agents on top of this. Yeah, I think I'm over time, so I'll leave it with that. And yeah, thanks for your time.
Awesome. Lucas, thank you so much. And it's really exciting seeing you go from kind of bringing this enterprise DeFi platform really into the agentic world. All right, next we've got Jacob from Slate. And Slate is an AI agent platform for DeFi orchestration. But really, there's so much more than that. They're almost a command center for super users. So Jacob, excited for you to share more about Slate.
Awesome. Just going to throw up share screen. Let me know if you guys can see this.
All good.
All right. All right. So I'm sure a lot of you have heard about AI applications for crypto. I'm here to show you why or where they're going and why Slate is the right team to bet on. So crypto moves fast, as we all know. Projects, protocols, and opportunities are popping up daily. But crypto also has a major problem. It's still too difficult to use, even for the most advanced users. So let's say you're as crypto native as they come. You're probably constantly monitoring multiple alpha channels, Telegram, Discord, sleuthing on-chain, curating Twitter lists. It's complete information overload. There are not enough hours in the day to process it all. And every piece of info you miss can cost you a fortune in either a lost opportunity or worse, a rug. Even after you've found the needle in the haystack, you have to log into multiple platforms, make sure you're topped up on the right chain, that you're using the right wallet, approving the right contracts, and so on. Your transactions don't land, and you're probably burning gas. And maybe you've gone as far as trying to develop AI native tools to help you and your friends kind of try to smooth the experience out. You've probably banged your head against the wall as you quickly realize that a lot of the plumbing to build your app is non-existent or just as bad as the experience using them. Slate is an infrastructure stack for connecting cutting-edge AIs and AI agents with blockchains, which means with Slate, we can now build AI native tools that resolve crypto's poor user experience, and we can make crypto accessible to all AI developers and future AI agents. So today I'll demo an information agent that is monitoring Hyperliquid, as well as an execution agent that are working together to automate my on-chain workflow. Both agents are built and coordinated on top of our infra stack. Let's see. Okay, so I have a group chat here with a number of information agents that are coordinating to source and process alpha in the background that I would find valuable. These agents are monitoring on-chain activity, social feeds, my personal activity, and they do this to then intelligently craft and suggest prompts that can be passed on to transaction agents. So just recently, I received a notification from an agent that's monitoring on-chain activity. This agent is notifying me that a wallet that I track has opened up an XRP long. This trade fits my risk profile and is coming from a wallet with a high hit rate. It already crafted the prompt that should work with my on-chain balances. I'm going to click the prompt suggested for me and then pass it off to my transaction agent. So this should auto open, log in, and prepare the prompt for the Slate transaction agent. At the bottom here, we can see prepare the long prompt. Looks correct, so I'll hit enter. And it has already responded with an initial interpretation of the prompt, which is to long XRP on Hyperliquid with 5x leverage. This usually takes less than a second. The agent receives the prompt as well as context on my personal balances, my trading history, as well as like protocols that it has access to. It should also figure out that I don't have sufficient funds on Hyperliquid to be able to perform the transaction, and that it needs to find USDC or something else to be able to perform the transaction. So with the help of some custom cognitive architecture that basically allows for chain of thought reasoning, recursive inference, and multimodal learning, the transaction agent has the ability to figure out the most time and cost-efficient pathway to pull the trade off. And before beginning the transaction sequence, it presents a local fork simulation of what would take place. I'm just going to hit confirm so it begins executing and I can continue the voiceover. In this simulation, I can see what protocols it's using. So in this case, it's going to bridge using a cross. I can see that it's finding the USDC on base. It's going to bridge it over to Arbitrum and then deposit from Arbitrum into Hyperliquid. And then I can also see the net changes of balances that are going to take place on all these chains. So as the transaction agent is executing, I have a live view into the funds being moved in the agent's wallet. So in this case, it like reduced the USDC balance. I should see USDC just popped up in Arbitrum and spent some gas. It should now pop up in Hyperliquid in hopefully a few minutes. After each transaction, it also presents me with transaction hashes for the transactions that took place. So these should automatically open to, let's say, Basecamp. And then I can also see at the end here, after it's successfully executed the transactions, it's got the XRP long open with the amount that I wanted to trade. Unfortunately, it cost me $2 in PNL, but hopefully that trader's right on the longer term. All right, so Slate is doing to crypto what Microsoft did to computing. We're bringing this technology to the masses and commercializing them. We're also building the plumbing for future developers to train, deploy, and productize AI agents that can interact with each other and on the blockchain seamlessly. We're still in private access, but our waitlist is growing 5% a day, driven by end user referrals. Our agents are sending 20,000 messages a day and processing over 200,000 messages. They've moved high 7 figures in volume, and our end users are retained and coming back for more. A bit on the team. Before Slate, we applied machine learning to climb to the top 10 in the Blur leaderboards. This is in the NFT space. And then we also drove close to $1 billion in loan origination volume in P2P DeFi. We're backed by tier 1 funds, and our team hails from Stanford, Berkeley, Fang, Olympus Dow, and Wall Street, to name a few. So if you're a terminally online crypto degen and you want to get involved so we can help your community move faster in crypto, reach out to us. Also, we have room for one more dev to join the team. If you're a 10x engineer, crypto native, and our high agency, we might be the team for you. Here's a QR code for our Twitter, as well as my personal Twitter. Feel free to reach out, and thank you for listening.
Awesome. Jacob, this is super cool. Love that this is live and the traction that you guys have. This is the future of trading. Okay. Next, we've got Bill from PinAI. And PinAI is basically building a personal and private consumer agent platform. So this is the era of agents.
Hi, everyone.
Awesome. We can see you, Bill. And I think whenever you're ready to share, you can get started.
Oh, it actually asked me to, asked me to reset to be able to share screen.
All right, we'll give Bill a second. But yeah, DeFi is really here, and I think it's been awesome just seeing the growth of agents in general, from social agents, with all the launch pads to DeFi agents, and it being from an idea to something that actually works. I remember 6 months ago looking at projects and their ability to actually answer questions and execute transactions was quite paltry, and this is like night and day. Next time we can all get an early on Trump coin.
Can you raise your hand, Bill, so that we know your alternative? There's a lot of attendees here. Yeah. It should be good to go.
Yeah, somehow Zoom has a glitch. Sorry, everyone. Hi, this is Bill. I was a Stanford Math PhD 2014 to 19, and being very fortunate to work with Stanford blockchain crew like Dan Bonet and in the early days Balaji and all those fun people since 2015 in crypto. And ever since you enter crypto, you cannot unenter. So I was doing all AI research, but yeah, like for me, Bitcoin and then the entire crypto space is always at my heart, and I've been always thinking, how can I build a AI project that leverages the power of blockchain and leverages the power of tokenization incentive, and thinking for a really long time. After like almost 10 years of searching, this is a project that found a few very strong co-founder and team to ship. PinAI, we are personal intelligence network. We build a personal AI that are connected together as a economical network, and we are a coordination layer for different type of personal AI. So we have a very strong team. David is a core research lead at Ethereum Foundation, leading the robust incentive group. Previously founder of Lyft driver marketplace, and the Columbia mechanism design PhD. Yeah, I was a Stanford PhD, and yeah, previously also Gen Alpha, another AI trading startup founder, and I'm also a Google Brain researcher in 2016, and participated in the early discovery of transformer, and also probably the first Stanford Math PhD that start to all in deep learning, and also one of the founder of AGI House, the Bay Area kind of AI community. If you have saw some of the kind of fun, say, circuit brain video like presenting in our house. And we also have Ben, who's a serial entrepreneur, have been doing personal AI and sold the company to Baidu since 2015 when Sam was still running YC and the MIT Loom. And we have very strong tech team with Regan that ran 100% like engineering team before, and also Laura, who have been through 3 AI unicorns before, NYU PhD. And also we have Jack, who have been VP of growth, so Hooked was listed on Binance, and also second employee Uber China. And also Anling, who is like super well-known influencer, and also Damien from Goldman Sachs and Pantera. We have a lot of other strong team. This is just a glimpse of like the team leaders. We have also top investors from Andreessen, from Hack VC, from a lot of the top project founders from Solana, from Near, from Sui, from WorldCoin, from Espresso, and also top AI founders from Cresta, like a Series D AI company, and also like a Sequoia US, and there are some that are not on here, but like also say Foresight Ventures, Nomad, and a bunch of others. And yeah, so what are we doing? Like personal AI sounds like you don't need a blockchain, right? It's like why are we using blockchain? So if you think about it, personal AI is coming no matter like how it's going to be built, right? Everyone wants to own their own AI. It won't be just like OpenAI's AI. And the public perception is it's going to come from one of the big tech, right? Because they have user data, they have AI, they have a lot of money, they have the go-to-market channels for consumers. There are 3 big players that are most likely to win this: Meta, Apple, and Google. They have like giant ecosystem, but they cannot access users' data outside of their own ecosystem, right? There's regulation barriers, there's business barrier, and all that. So everyone only has a piece of user's image, and they don't share with any third-party developers. So small developers can only be like a loyal servant to them and plug into their API and wait for their permission. So there is only one solution, which is to go to the user, and the user is the only one that hold 100% sovereignty over user's data. And if you build a personal AI locally on the user side, and aggregate all the different type of user data together, from their shopping history, from their like a centralized exchange trading history, stock trading history, their like social like chat history, and all those very sensitive information. You have to build their personal AI locally, right? So we are basically building local models based on all the users' data, and like evolve users' AI from this like everyone use the same open source or large company AI to the point that a billion people have billion different AI. And this is where we can envision eventually there is a network of all these billion different personal AI represent each user. Instead of a social network of human beings, we'll have a social network of this personal AI, and also how personal AI interact with business AI, right? So here we show how a personal AI interact with business AI, where on one part, it's a personal AI that is kind of really know you really well, and can be your loyal assistant, can be your kind of a very high EQ like companion, like in her. It can also be your like personal avatar that basically behave like you. And then on the other side, there are different business AI. For example, like DoorDash food ordering, like different Amazon, Shopify shopping, and say like in the case of Slate, the like say DAX trading, right? And for all these interactions, the user have intent. We have a protocol called intent matching that match them as like building the edges between personal AI and business AI. We also have a system that's building the link between personal AI and personal AI to actually like collaborate and compete. And we'll actually launch a few very cool products along those lines too. So today, if we look at the infrastructure, how to build it, we have the personal data protocol where we do personal indexing. So similar to how Google build an index for websites, we are building indexing for every single human beings on like their entire digital history. And we leverage this method to build personal AI for everyone, and then personal AI can go on chain to interact, and like basically the edges between personal AI and the personal AI and the edges between personal AI and business AI are where blockchain chimes in, right? Like when one AI interact with another AI, or one AI like interact with another AI's data, that's when like all those things will be recorded on the blockchain, and it's like micro economical activities between AIs. And we first thing we record is when a user lands their personal data to their personal AI. Second thing we land is how different business service are registered on us, and we have an open ecosystem for them to register different type of AI, both like the meme coin trading AI or the utility AI, and to like do the intent matching and in the future intent bidding. And we have built a few products. So actually, let me jump out and show you a product demo. So basically, on one side, there is AI that interacts with you and knows you very well. On the other side, there is a blockchain that is running behind doors and like tracking all the information and finding the best service that actually matches. And in the end, we have the like verified. Okay. So coming back here, we have see tremendous growth ever since we launched. We have launched a Hyping mini app, and without any marketing fee, organically it has grown to close to 2 million users right now. And this is like as of January 4th, already 1.5 million. And it's the first time in my startup career to see this organic exponential growth. So it's very exciting with 0 user acquisition fee. And it's also very global reach, and we have so many users that connect to their data, which is like basically building a very strong network where like a lot of utility is happening. And the next step on February, we're launching like our Android and iOS version on top of our current mini app version, adding a lot more diverse agents, diverse data connectors, and then we'll have a chain that like handle all this like trusted execution environment, ZK-TLS, and everything in testnet. Probably also on end of February. So yeah, like first look out for our launch, and a lot of exciting things are happening. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Bill. So next we have
1 second, Kuhn. Happy birthday, Bill.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, that's all.
and thank you, Bill, for presenting actually demo day in your birthday.
Yeah, definitely. Love to celebrate with all these people. We have 200 people here, right?
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you again, Bill. So next we have Sam Green. And Sam was used to work in Semantic Labs, was a core contributor of the graph. He's also a co-author of the AI white paper for the graph. So a lot of experience in that space. And now he's working on Cambrian. And Cambrian, the one-liner is that Cambrian provides Web3 agents, AI agents with real-time and cross-chain data. So with that, I'll pass on the mic to Sam.
Thanks, Kuhn. Hi, everyone. Yes, so this is our first public presentation about Cambrian. We started in November of last year, and Cambrian provides real-time verifiable market data for crypto agents. And the founding team is all from the graph. I'm the CEO, and I was previously the CTO at Semiotic Labs. And Semiotic is a core dev team for the graph. And I also Semiotic is also the parent company of Odos, which is a leading DEX aggregator currently processing between $200 and $300 million per day in Ethereum ecosystem volume, DEX volume. We also have Brian Berman. He's our CMO. He was previously responsible for all of the copy. Well, he reported to the CMO of the Graph previously, and he's responsible for all the copy currently at thegraph.com. We also have Ricky Esclapon. He's our agent engineer, and he was previously doing data science at the Graph. And then Tumai Tuzku, he is our principal engineer. He does all of our database work. And Santos Rosati, he worked on verifiability at the Graph. So altogether, we have about 13 years of experience building the Graph. We also have a lot of experience in AI. My previous company, Semiotic, was responsible for all of the AI efforts within the Graph. We were also responsible for verifiability of the Graph's data. And I was co-author of the Graph's AI strategy, like Kuhn mentioned. And at Semiotic, we deployed the first, as far as we know, the first automated dynamic pricing agent in Web3. It uses a simple reinforcement learning strategy to try to maximize the prices for queries for the validators in the Graph. And I have a PhD in reinforcement learning from UC Santa Barbara that I received at the end of 2019. Okay, so the problem that we're solving is that DeFi data is fragmented across multiple chains. And we are seeing increasing adoption of crypto and DeFi AI agents. And we see that they're impacting markets, for example, through their tweets. They're also starting to analyze risks and opportunities like we saw earlier, and they're actually beginning to actively manage user funds. And our core premise is that these agents need correct blockchain data to operate correctly. And that's what we're going to provide. Specifically, we're providing real-time verifiable market data for these emerging crypto agents. And at a high level, what happens is that agents can make SQL queries for cross-chain data from our network. Our network indexes and transforms and organizes raw blockchain data from all the major chains. And then what ultimately happens is that we want to provide agents that are making on-chain transactions or high-value transactions. And we're going to support all major chains. We're supporting SQL. Our system is very fast, and it's verifiable and decentralized. So in a little more detail, our validators will index raw chain data from major chains, and we're leveraging a low-level piece of the Graph stack called Firehose. And if anybody in the call is from the Graph ecosystem, we'll also be purchasing the low-level raw data from the Graph. Our validators then transform the data and store the data in ClickHouse, which is a analytical database. And then agents or smart contracts, which I'm not going to get into more today, can make queries to our network for data. And then our validators will perform consensus on the resulting data before returning it to the consumer. And that's how we get verifiability. And we're also going to be secured using economic security and EigenLayer. We have two technical paths right now that we are working on. One is our indexing work, which is to collect and transform our low-level data. We're currently indexing Base and Solana, which is where most of the agent activity is. And we are working on supporting materialized views. This is basically how Dune is able to create their dashboards. In the back end, they use they use something called materialized views to be able to collect data from many different protocols. The other path that we're currently working on in parallel is our agent, and we are working on a virtual data agent. This agent will exist to find and serve data for other agents. You can basically basically we're using this as a way to get exposure to our customers' needs in parallel to us building the backend. This agent that we're building will source its data from all available sources. And as our network comes online, we'll start feeding the agent that we're creating with our network's verifiable data. We, of course, we're part of the Stanford Blockchain Accelerator. We are also part of Agent Starter, which is an agent accelerator being run by Longhash and the Virtuals team. We have received our pre-seed round from Blockchain Builders Fund and many angel investors within the Graph, including founding team members of the Graph. We've talked to many potential customers, and we've had, I think it's clear that people want verifiable data when agents have when agents are making economic decisions. If you would like to learn more, you can follow us, our new account on Twitter, me on Twitter. We have a mailing list sign up. We'll send out information about whenever we have the ability to bring on developers. And if you'd like to learn more about the low-level cryptographic, the approach that we're taking to cryptographic verifiability, you can see this link. And this will take you to these slides that I'm presenting.
Awesome. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you.
So next we have Stefan. So I'm gonna make Stefan co-host. So next we have Stefan. And the team is Akave. Akave is a hot storage Filecoin L2. Equips enterprises, AI companies, and DePIN builders with tools to move beyond traditional cloud solutions. The floor is yours, Stefan. You should be able to share screens and unmute yourself.
There you go. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Well, what a nice lineup. It works perfect because we are the Akave team. I'm CEO, founder, and Angelo and Daniel are my two co-founders. We come from Protocol Labs. This is a spin-off from Protocol Labs, where our goal is to disrupt the AI infrastructure, specifically the data layer. And we have 20 years of enterprise experience. Our goal is to go after paying customers. We're living in the AI dream. I don't have to repeat this. A lot of presenters in front of me have demonstrated the rise of smart agents. And for all of this to come through, you need actual data. And not only is there an issue or a challenge in AI, and that is, accessing private data sets is really hard. They're typically locked behind data walls. I mean, we kind of heard it from other presenters as well. If you want to train LLMs on your own data, you need a lot of compute. Moving it out of the cloud, where it's typically located, is very expensive. And so there's definitely a vendor lock-in issue. And then humans cannot be trusted, which is why we're seeing a lot more smart agents now, because that will allow you to accelerate and scale faster. And then there's a whole debate about deepfakes, biased LLMs, human intervention, and misused personal data. So what we see is a gap where the AI infrastructure really needs a more secure infrastructure to scale data in a trustful way. And what we really mean is the notion of verifiable web, meaning the ability to move data around in a verifiable way. And so blockchains are perfect for that, but the problem is it's really hard to use. And a lot of the users and businesses that we've talked to in the last 3 years when I was at Protocol Labs, they sort of came to us and said, we love decentralized storage, all the primitives that it has, but can you please give me an object or a RESTful interface, aka typically an S3 compatible interface, because that will make it a lot easier for me to connect my applications. So users need bridges. And then on top of that, we want to reduce the complexity of how current web infrastructure or current AI infrastructure is being built. You typically have a data or an object storage layer, and you have a database layer that sort of controls who has access. Now, if you truly want to scale, you want to enable smart agents, this is not the way to go because it's not scalable. Plus, there's a lot of human interaction. And so what we are proposing is a decentralized verifiable data layer that has all the primitives from blockchain. It's consensus driven. It has data integrity proofs, encryption, erasure coding, object interfaces to easily connect with it, and wallet addresses for smart agents. So we really, with Akave, built that trusted data layer. And so in the last couple of months, we are going after enterprise, and we have already enterprise customers. We've also seen the rise of smart agents, and have seen an opportunity there as well to support these smart agents with data wallets. Because if you can do the same thing with data that you're doing today in DeFi, the world is your oyster. And we've also seen a growth in DePIN networks that need, instead of an IPFS layer, they need a real decentralized storage layer that can allow them to track data as it gets ingested on the device all the way to the data center. And that opens up also an opportunity to take advantage of confidential computing or decentralized compute and AI. So what are the benefits of Akave? And I'll give you a quick demo on how it works, because we have our testnet up now. We provide an S3 compatible interface. Someone mentioned earlier, smart agents speak REST, and that is correct. We've seen that as well. And so does the Web2 world. You can save up to 80% savings on your storage costs, just because it's an open marketplace and there's no high egress cost. And then everything's on chain, which is really the differentiator here. So you can actually start acting on your data on a much more granular way. And we use DAGs and the IPFS formats basically. And we have data wallets for smart agents. So let me quickly demo this. Before we go into this, you can go to our docs where we have our faucet. You can start to connect your wallet if you want to your MetaMask. And then you can start using the CLI. We have an SDK and a CLI that allows you, as you can see here, to create the same things that you would typically do in a cloud environment. You can create a bucket, you can upload data to it, and all the data is encrypted automatically. We also distribute the data across multiple nodes. I'm going to accelerate this a little bit to save some time. But one of the key important factors here is that by distributing the data and using erasure coding, we can enable higher levels of durability. Plus, we can also stream data a lot faster from multiple nodes. So really take advantage of the network of nodes, think BitTorrent a little bit. And everything is done on the client side. So why is that important? It's important because then you can kind of offload the work as well to the clients, and you can scale a lot faster. There's no single point of failure, when there's no single point of limitation there. The other thing we're doing is we have a concept of subnets. So we designed it in a way that we can set up multiple subnets. As you can see here, we're kind of downloading from our testnet, which is live. And then we have the Explorer as you upload files. So what we did earlier is we created a file, we uploaded a file, and then you can see in the Explorer what all the transactions were that happened, whether it was creating a bucket, adding a file. And you can actually dive deeper into it and see the actual chunks where it's being stored. And also the hashes that are, like in this case, the SID, the content addressable hash, the root hash is stored on chain. And so by doing this, we bring a lot of the off-chain data, these large data sets on chain. La mayoría de las personas no tienen idea de programmable, sorry. If you want to play around, you can also go directly to our docs, and actually here you can actually see live all the transactions that are coming in. And then you can see through the Explorer what transactions are happening on a certain bucket and wallet, etc. So pretty excited about that. In the last 5 months or last year, we went from 0 to basically a testnet, and we built out a wide ecosystem of partners and paying customers so far, which is awesome. And we're seeing different types of partners showing up, like DePIN networks, marketplaces, and some enterprises that are moving out of the cloud and want to innovate. We also have customers storing LLMs. They care about data integrity, data verifiable, basically copies of their weights, their outputs, because more synthetic data gets stored now as well. So really nice deal sizes in the funnel. And last but not least, we're now also raising. So if you're interested, let us know. This is to expand our go-to-market now that we're ready to take on more enterprise customers and start driving revenue. And last but not least, prepare for TG. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you, Stefan. So next is I'm going to remove Stefan from co-host, and the next is from the PrismaX team. So I think Bailey is presenting, so I'm gonna make him co-host. So now we have Bailey from PrismaX. So PrismaX is building a base layer dataset for visual robotic vision generative AI models. So let Bailey present from here.
All right.
We'll be able
Hello,
to
everyone.
introduce him.
It's great to be here, and as Kun said, we're building a base layer data set for modern AI. It can't be denied, right, that modern generative AI has been one of the biggest step changes in technology in basically the past 30-40 years. But what really made this possible? The core, while there have been a lot of innovations on things like model architecture and design, really the core driver has been these massive unsupervised data sets which allow the training of models at a scale which was previously not possible. Specifically, all text data is trained on text crawled from the internet. This represents not only trillions of tokens of data, it's trillions of tokens of unbiased data. Because it fundamentally originates from a decentralized place, it represents what humanity cares about. It represents what the users care about, and it represents text which is relevant to real life. But if you take a look at models which are in other domains like robotics or video or images, the performance is much worse. And the reason is we don't have a similarly representative data set of things like images or videos. Videos found on the internet are mostly either marketing videos or professionally produced short content, and the vast majority of images on the internet are going to be basically images of products crawled from e-commerce sites with very little images that are actually relevant to the real world. And what this means is that these models are really just unable to generalize in the same way that text models can. Now, it's a pretty obvious step forward is to go use decentralized ways in Web3 and blockchain to try to collect the data that the next generation of models needs. But the current Web3 plus AI data scene doesn't quite hit it right. There are a lot of products which are trying to mine text data, but the problem is we already have an absurd amount of text data. With 5 trillion tokens, it's the text data you're going to collect maybe will increase the performance of a model in one benchmark by a couple of percentage points, but it's not going to create a huge change in model performance. Then there are projects which are trying to leverage decentralized technologies in order to do manual data curation, but this has a huge trust problem because think about it, right? This data that the customer is buying is going to go into a $10 million training run, and he's putting all of his faith in your curators, that your network of presumably random people you found to participate in your project are going to provide the right labels, and that's hard. That's hard for any AI company to trust in. But where we see a huge blank space is simply collecting real world data, which currently does not exist on the internet. And the way we're doing this is by leveraging existing lightweight AI models running on decentralized edge nodes in order to automate the filtering at scale of this data. The idea is you don't need a perfect filter engine. What you need is a filter engine that makes it harder for people to submit falsified data than it is for them to simply comply with the request. For example, if I go ask for 100 videos of people scrambling eggs, surely it's easier to scramble an egg than it is to come up with an appropriately length video which looks like a video of egg scrambling to the AI embeddings, but somehow isn't egg scrambling, because people are really good at following instructions and carrying out real-world tasks. And if you do the dispatching right, you can dispatch tasks to the right people. For example, if you want, once again, looking at cooking videos, which are a popular thing in robotics, you probably want to route those requests to people who work in commercial kitchens and can passively collect the data. There's no friction for them to submit the data, so they're much more likely to submit good data than they are to come up with falsified data. And what PrismaX is doing is we're connecting communities of data suppliers and data miners, people who have real experiences to record and submit, with demand for this data from AI companies through a seamless interface. As our network scales and as our foundation scale dataset scales, we can provide near instantaneous turnaround to AI companies, plus additional unique data that's generated on demand. And our data set is unique in a few ways. We can collect unique perspectives which simply aren't available on public data sets because, for example, YouTube or social media won't contain huge amounts of first-person task videos, or we can collect long context real life videos which provide models with the temporal knowledge they need to generalize well and to be able to generalize to analyzing longer and longer sequences. And this can empower things like environmental understanding for robotics and navigation, gestures and body motion for things like robotics, VFX, character animation, things like egocentric foundation models for building highly generalizable robotics models. So as I said earlier, we're really focused on building a product which is something that the demand side customers really want. We're building a data crawler and dashboard which allow AI customers to be able to use natural language to search for data they're looking for. Then those requests get routed to one of several layers. First, the master data sets are checked, samples are returned. Customers can look at that data. They can say, okay, this data is good. I want more data like it. And if they want more unique data, those requests get dispatched to our community of data suppliers who are able to, in real time or almost real time, collect that data, turn it around to the customer for feedback, and have them provide additional feedback and fine tuning. This is something which is currently not possible with centralized platforms like Scale. Scale is expensive. The data turnaround time is multiple days plus the additional weeks of latency to set up your account. And that's simply because their networks of data collectors, so to speak, just aren't big enough to scale to the types of turnarounds that customers really want. A little bit about ourselves. I'm on the protocol and engineering side. I have extensive experience in AI and robotics. I worked at MIT CS and AI Lab on robotics. China's on ops and marketing. She's a serial entrepreneur in crypto. And has almost a decade of experience in the space launching crypto projects. Shuja is on research and BD. He's a two-time founder and working on things like the scalable blockchain infrastructure. So right now we're focused on launching our demand side data crawler along with our eval engine, as well as some supply side data collection tools to be able to build these unique data sets. And early this year we hope to be able to launch our app and go on from there. The tokens are both used as gas for data access, which gives them some inherent level of stability. So insofar as you believe that the data we've already collected is of value, people will continue to burn gas in order to be able to access the data. And of course, it's used for governance and incentivization on the supply side. Thank you. And yeah, that's it. Thank you very much. We recently closed our pre-seed round. We'll be launching our seed raise imminently very soon. And please follow us on X.
Awesome. Thank you, Bailey. Exciting stuff. Excited to see you help us all push through the data wall as we accelerate. Next up, we have Kenji from PublicAI. PublicAI is a Web3 data infrastructure marketplace for crypto-incentivized data annotation and enrichment. So Kenji, can you put your hand up via the React? There we go. And you got Kenji? And Kenji, hopefully you can present now.
Yep. Okay, can you see guys?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Kenji, co-founder of PublicAI. And before starting, I would just like to ask two quick questions. One is, can you guess what is my mother language? Well, it's a bit complex because I was born in Mexico as a Japanese-blooded, went to a Chinese school, and I live in the US right now. And according to an AI platform, it seems that my mother language is 80% Spanish and 20% Burmese. I don't know where the Burmese comes from, but that's what it's saying. And it's related to the second question. I think a couple of people here are non-English native speakers. but have you ever thought of monetizing your dialect or how you talk? Because out there, there's a lot of AI-related companies that are collecting vast amount of data to train their models. And actually, they need this type of voices or dialects. In PublicAI, our vision is to enable everyone to monetize your expertise and knowledge. And I think Harvey and Stefan also mentioned a lot about that. So here I would like to explain how we do that. It's a third question, but what's Stock's AI model moving forward right now? I think a lot of people have already mentioned it, so I will not repeat it, but many people understand with exponential growth of AI-related companies and the regulatory prohibiting usage of public data, there is the demand of private data is increasing. And according to some people, they say that we will run out of ML data by 2026. So how can we solve this kind of pains? Here you can see on this page that we do sourcing and collection from individuals like yourselves. Anyone can provide us the data, but the data might not be good. If you put in shit data inside, shit output comes out. So we need to have a good quality data. To do that, we use our internal AI to verify and label that data. And after that, we still use blockchain where it comes here when the human confirmation comes for the verification as well. In this page, you can also see that in our case, we already have some customers. And like in the left side, you can see there's a AI company trying to verify if the brand product is fake or not. To do that, they need a lot of private data. They need to have angles of data like you can see here, like the D corner or the stitches, very, very like detailed data in photos. And that's where we come here, providing this kind of private data with our community. Why we are the people to do that? This is the team. Tsui and Steven are our AI and tech experts, and Jordan is from Web3 marketing, and myself, I'm from business and investment. Actually, why we started this, because Tsui has a research center of AI, and he got 300 million from Hong Kong to do that. But when they were collecting the data, a lot of data was very expensive, and the data quality was not good, and Steven was part of that team. So in order to solve their own pain, they started PublicAI. Here you can see in this page how is the layers of how we verify the data. So we source and collect the data from individuals, like I've been saying. And this is not just computer vision, it can be your voice, as I mentioned, or it can be documents, whatever type of data. And we fetch it through our AI, verify, label it, and then it comes back so that we use blockchain for verification. And in the bottom line, you can see we use state collateral and also consensus and reputation system. So what we want to say here is that as a theory, it looks simple. And I think many people can say we can do it. But I think our strong differentiation is that we already fulfilled a lot of contracts. And at the end, it's execution. When we see like even stake, if the stake amount is too low, people won't care because they can take the risk. If the stake amount is too high, people don't want to take that risk and don't stake and stop the voting. So these balances can be accumulated by understanding the community's needs and their activities. And through that process, we have been able to overcome this execution. This is also a page showcasing how we verify the data. So we have the layer of the workers, the AI, and the validators again. In this page, we're showcasing that we have 500,000 contributors globally decentralized. Mostly are in Southeast Asia, but we also have in the US, Japan, APAC. And fortunately, we started in 2023. And last year, we got like around annual revenue of over 1 million. And we have secured contracts up to 2028. What kind of revenue models we have? We have two. We have service model and sales model. The service model is more for like AI application companies that come to us for each project and request for specific data sets that we have. And sales model is more for like large enterprises who come to us for a longer term period of contracts with specific data set. And below, you can see the revenue-driven token issue that we're planning to do after the TGE, because we do have revenue from physical Web2. We plan to use that revenue to also buy back a certain amount of tokens so that after we do our TGE, our token price doesn't bump down. Rest of our investors, and today we really appreciate SBA for letting us participate in the demo day. Stanford is there, and we have like Solana Foundation here, Foresight Ventures as our investors as well. Finally, this is our roadmap. I just have 2 points. One is we plan to do our TG end of Q1 because we need to contribute to our community members because that's the most important asset for us. And second, this is a small request, but everyone who is here, please try our product. And if, give us any kind of feedback because those feedbacks enable us to improve our product. And that's what we do every day. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Kenji. Great prezo. Super interesting. Next up, and we don't normally do this, but the current time in Greece is ungodly. So we have allowed the next team to submit a video for their demo, and we will play that now. Everybody, please tune into Surath, the co-founder of Pod.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you, Gil.
Hello, everyone. I'm Shresh. I'm the CEO of Cohort. Sadly, I couldn't be with you guys live today, but I'm very excited to tell you more about Cohort. Blockchains are great, but they are slow, requiring several seconds to even minutes to do a single transaction. Expensive, costing several dollars of highly dynamic gas fees as compared to almost free-to-use web apps. And complex, needing hundreds of steps to do the simplest of action. What if blockchains could be as fast and as simple as a Google search? Allow me to break the biggest myth of the blockchain industry that has held us from getting there. Most of the blockchain traffic actually does not need consensus. Consensus can be thought of as a black box that takes transactions as input and outputs them in some globally agreed upon order. Achieving this global order is expensive. Even with slightly different network conditions, validators can see transactions appearing in different order. And on top of that, you have malicious validators that are intentionally trying to fool other validators by sending conflicting things. Achieving this global order requires several rounds of communication between all the validators, which is slow and expensive on the network. And relaxing this total order requirement can allow us to finalize transactions in single network conflict, almost as fast as the web apps that we are familiar with. Cohort is a new Alban primitive that relaxes the consensus requirement to achieve subsequent finality in gigabit level throughput. I'm the CEO of Cohort. I've been in the blockchain space for more than half a decade. I started as an algorithm designer and smart contract developer for some of the early DAOs and DeFi protocols, which held hundreds of millions of dollars. Later on, I got very excited about the science of consensus and cryptography, which is when I started spending time auditing security critical infrastructure and also worked on life finance. Dionysius is the chief scientist. He's a very renowned scientist with over 20 papers and with over 1,000 citations. Alexis, he's the CTO. He's been a CTO and founder of several Web2 companies with extensive experience in scaling technical teams. Harris, he's the COO, and at Sparklight, he has worked at Amazon and some of the top banks of space. We are a spin-out out of Common Prefix, which is a team of scientists and engineers with experience in Bitcoin, Cosmos, and Ethereum ecosystems, and scientists with experience in consensus, MPC, game theory, etc. We have the whole Common Prefix team of more than 22 people from the get-go to bootstrap Pod at full speed. We also have the network of Common Prefix, which is some of the top L1s and L2s, and some of them can actually also be onboarded to Pod. These are some of the important features of Pod. I've already touched upon the sub-second latency and gigabit level throughput. With Pod, we are building EVMX, which is a fully backwards compatible extension of EVM. We think EVM and Solidity is here to stay. We love the Ethereum Solidity community. With EVMX, developers can use their favorite Solidity toolchain while still being able to leverage the fast track of Pod. Pod is a stake-based network. We plan to bootstrap as an AVS, borrowing security from Ethereum, while progressively transitioning to using our own token and being a token L1. There are several other key features that I would love to tell you more about, like cashless transactions with native account abstraction, interoperability using native light clients and modular execution engine, feel free to reach out and I would be happy to tell you more about it. The first use case that I would like to talk that we are currently working on are real-time auctions. Auctions are actually the only tool that is available to humankind that can be used to dynamically price resources and services. You can come up everywhere in blockchain to price block space, intent, and proof markets. These are some of the companies working in the space, and we've been collaborating with some of them. You will be hearing more about it soon. But if you think about auctions, auctions can be thought of mainly as a two-step process. One, you collect a set of bids, and second, based on the set, you calculate the winner. And collecting a set of bids is a difficult problem for a decentralized system. The interesting thing here is you don't really care about the ordering within the set. You only care about the set itself. And the existing L1, L2 infrastructure does not provide the required fast censorship resistance guarantee to create this set quickly. While Cohort, because of its because of its consensus layer, allows you to collect the set of bits very efficiently. We are also very excited about fully on-chain games, global payments, and decentralized social. We are very close to our DevNet. If this sounds exciting to you,
excellent. Thank you, Recorded Stress. That was great. You have their details. I'll leave it up for a couple more seconds in case you want to get in touch with the pod team. They've been a lot of fun to work with. Speaking of fun to work with, next up we have the Nectar team. One of the only teams who've attempted to remain quasi-anon as they've worked with us. So Kekek, can you please put your hand up to do the screen share? And then we'll also be unmuting Z, because I think they both have speaking parts in this. There is Kekek.
Do you need me to make Z host too?
No, not Z. We'll just unmute Z.
Look, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. Let me just go ahead and share my screen. Gonna do it off of Figma today. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I guess yeah, we're Nectar AI, basically building out an immersive companionship agent platform. I think we've seen a lot of kind of like these DeFi projects, these agent projects kind of come up. And this is something that's going to be like a little more fresh. I think Z and I both fundamentally believe that at the end of the day, personality and companionship agents are also going to be a large part of the future and kind of drive actually a lot more high usage compared to, I guess, like utility-based agents, primarily just because like it's already found some PMF in existing spaces, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to the next slide. So as a bit of background for everybody here, I think as we all know, AI companions are here to stay, right? They've gained massive amounts of traction already in the Web2 world. And, primarily they're used for, emotional intimacy and validation for both genders alike, whether it's like male or female. Character AI is, one of the most popular use cases of just generative AI in general. And I guess being on chain only kind of like increases the immersion, which we'll kind of like get into today. So basically, as it stands, there are a bunch of like fundamental problems with kind of like what AI companions are right now, right? Primarily, they're kind of like pretty basic chatbots. In terms of their like memory system, they're very basic. They're unidirectional. There have been some like attempts to kind of essentially make this more immersive, but overall, it actually requires a significant amount of like technical lift in order to kind of like make these things, actually act as like immersive human beings. And furthermore, doing this is like pretty non-trivial, right? A lot of like competitors in the market, in order to kind of like have some sort of quality control, are actually the ones actually issuing out the companions themselves. And that's why oftentimes when you kind of like go on these like Web2 companionship websites, there aren't that many companions to choose from. And if they are, the quality isn't that great. Just because like users, they don't really know how to make proper agents. So you get this like wide fluctuation in terms of quality from the agents themselves. And that's kind of like what we'll talk about here with the incentives is like, crypto is kind of like a perfect incentivization method to actually, kind of kickstart essentially a creator economy for these agents to actually make them, all decently high quality. And in terms of like what we've built out so far and exactly what we're building is essentially a platform, permissionless and decentralized platform per se, to kind of create these sort of uncensored and replicable multimodal AI companion agents. Our baseline mission is to kind of create a platform in which these things essentially feel indistinguishable from reality, and to make the most feature complete platform for people to kind of be able to do so. And you can kind of see here what we've highlighted is kind of like a recent agent that we've kind of started promoting a bit more publicly. You can kind of follow our Twitter to kind of like find the lore out behind that. But you can see here that it kind of like understands and adapts like what the user is saying without any necessary further prompting, right? You can see here it says like, oh, I bought you a white dress. There's like some sort of narration. You can have a customized voice attached to it, and also automatically understands exactly what type of like modality to kind of like send back. You say like, oh, I want to see how you look in it. It understands like, oh, okay, the user kind of like wants a photo. The facial similarity is like kind of like the exact same. We've constructed kind of like a proprietary facial pipeline for kind of like generating these images accurately and in a replicable manner. And the goal eventually, of course, is to kind of have all these users be able to kind of like make these similar companion agents and have them fully equipped. So yeah, in terms of growth, we've reached over 1 million total users. Session time from our paid users is astronomical. People really love our product, and we've grown over 10x in terms of organic traffic in just some of these past few months alone. And I'll let here, I guess Z kind of talk a little bit more about some of the technology that we use, and then yeah, we can kind of take it from there.
Yeah, so basically at the core of our agents is multimodality. It's very important for our agents to support all kinds of different inputs to make the most immersive kind of experience possible for the customer. So this includes not only just basic text chat, but also photo sending, video messages, voice notes, and as well as coming soon, which is voice calling. And you can basically extend that out to eventually one day we would support video calling as well. Another thing that we have is real-time information, up-to-date information for our Telegram agents. The first one being Alana that was mentioned earlier. This is just important because it's kind of critical for agents to be aware of the current world situation, as this adds like a lot more immersive components to the experience, as we've found from just talking to our users, as well as larger sort of persistent memory. That's another thing that we have coming soon, which is going to allow agents to basically remember things that the users have said about themselves or in general for multiple months. And yeah, all of this is going to be available permissionlessly to create. So users on our site can already create agents and characters in a permissionless manner. So this, we're just going to extend this even farther in the future and allow our agents to not only converse with users, but also take actions on their behalf.
Yeah, so I think like one very interesting thing to point out is also like, I guess like where we kind of like use crypto, right? So obviously like the main use case that crypto kind of has as its main PMF is basically permissionless payment rails. And for the first time, actually having agents on chain allows us to be programmatic first class citizens in this like new era of like commerce, right? And you can kind of like imagine, as we describe here with real world actions, what this kind of means is that as you kind of like interact with the agent to kind of, we kind of construct a data representation about you. For example, your hobbies, your likes, dislikes, and then it's able to actually transact on your behalf and kind of like, once in a while surprise you with actual things that you might need. And we've gone ahead and are doing some pilots with a couple of the merchants listed here, primarily number one to Repose on Solana to kind of like order you coffee. Basic Space is kind of like a clothing brand that the agent can kind of like shop from and kind of like suggest you clothes. Perhaps it's like your birthday coming up. Perhaps it's, a special occasion and you're like, oh, I need a new outfit. What do you think I would look good in? Well, let's say you yourself, you want to buy like, some digital version clothing for, Alana in the future to dress her up. And we also have like a jewelry brand here that also sells like luxury watches in case people want to splurge a little bit more. And we'll be coming out with, I guess, more information on kind of like how all of this works behind the scenes in terms of how we're tying together crypto, automatic agentic payments to these merchants and whatnot. In terms of our team, we Z and I have kind of been in crypto for a while. I think there are some investors and also potential engineers here that may be interested in joining. You'd be joining probably one of the most stacked teams in this space right now. I think almost half of us are from Stanford with some sort of graduate degree, or have graduated from Ivy Leagues and worked at like top level both protocols and also like Web2 fame companies. So with that being said, I guess the next step is to actually show you guys how all of this works live. Bear in mind, this is like a completely live demo. We have tested it somehow, but let's see if we get blessed today. So can you guys all see my screen? It's Telegram right now.
Yes,
so we partnered up with basically how you kind of start is just by simply messaging the Alana Nectar bot. In this case, where we have a couple alpha features that we kind of want to highlight to everybody here. So we're on a staging branch. But we've partnered up with Dynamics that kind of have, one-click login, essentially. So even new users that simply just want to like get started, it's extremely simple. I'm not sure if you guys can see this part of the authentication flow, but it's simply just like one click, right? And basically, you don't even need to sign up. It's completely seamless. You might not even know that you've even signed up for a Nectar account, but from here, you're ready to go, right? Let's just go ahead and say hi and see kind of like what she says. Basically, what's kind of like happening behind the scenes is we obviously have like kind of like our own custom language models running. Basically, what will happen is it kind of like takes into account a bunch of data that we kind of store throughout like conversational context. Kind of like start to get to understand exactly like what you like, what you don't like, etc. So yeah, I guess it's a bit slow right now. In that case, we'll highlight some of the group chat functionality from like Alana while we kind of like wait for her to kind of like respond. So in this case, we kind of like there's like a standard group chat, right? Like you can kind of like expect Alana can also function in group chats, kind of like unlike anything else right now. Basically, you can kind of like see in this case, people are asking like, oh, like like what do you want to do, this coming weekend? People are free. What should we do, right? And it's super simple to kind of like add people in. So in this case, well, like I'll say, so let me say like for my new girl. And in this case, I'll just like invite Alana into this group chat. She's been added, and then we can say like, yeah. So let's see if it works in this case. Awesome. So basically, now like Alana can kind of like understand, exactly kind of like she understands that we have some plans. So let's kind of like talk about this. So you can see here, earlier in the group chat, we kind of decided that, we kind of want to see Zane at the Manhattan Center, and then let's see if she properly responds. Let's just give her a friendly ping. So in this case, it actually searches like the web to actually kind of like find out exactly like where it's, actually he's actually playing. And then we can also kind of like see that it kind of also responds in kind of like private DMs, right? I kind of have this like pre-pasted this link. You can see that it kind of like understands exactly that I've, have let's if she properly responds. Otherwise, I'll kind of like bring it up in the group chat. Demo it here. Oh, there we go. She's actually responded. So she knows exactly in this case what type of wine it is, right? La Mission Haute Brion, amazing 2016 vintage wine for those of you that are wine connoisseurs. I'll drop the link below so that you can actually see that she fully understands exactly what is going on. But yeah, that's overall kind of like a pretty short demonstration of kind of like Alana's capabilities. You can see that she has real-time web search. She's also able to kind of like send voice messages, which we kind of haven't demonstrated in this case. But if you kind of like go ahead and talk to Alana yourself, especially in the new upcoming updates, you'll see that she actually has voice enabled, and she can kind of respond back with her own custom voice. Z, anything to add on your end?
Yeah, nothing more to add. I think we can just jump into the site.
Oh yeah. Okay. So as part of what we've built out, Nectar is just kind of like it's also a web app, right? It's not just like kind of like talking to agents on Telegram. I think we would kind of find that a little dull. So let me just go ahead and show you guys what we've actually built out, which is our site. The site is kind of like our primary entry point for a lot of these like Web2 users. And it's like kind of like their way of actually interacting with the application.
If you're trying to screencast your site, you are not doing it at the moment.
Oh, okay. You guys see it now?
There we go.
Okay, cool. So this is like the main entry point for like the website, right? This is kind of how users interact. We have both like explicit modes and non-explicit modes for people that are kind of craving, different sorts of experiences to switch back and forth. It's like super easy. For those that want a safe space to explore more taboo topics, traditionally, you can kind of like enable this, and you can see that in the background, you already see blurred out, the content does change. We have girls and guys that you can kind of like select from, as well as like anime for those people that kind of like prefer, more exploring like different waifus. And yeah, I think like it's a great place to kind of like, for people to kind of like in general chat with different companions, but also explore different scenarios for people to kind of like be a part of. I won't go through the whole flow because I don't want to take up too much of people's time, but you can see here that the types of companions that you can make are super straightforward. It's almost like as if you're selecting, people from like an RPG, right? We have different races available for people to kind of like choose from, different hairstyles, different, and a variety of like different things, right? You can see here, this is kind of like the animated flow. If we go over here and we kind of like select guys, you can also see a hyper realistic flow of what generating males might be. Kind of like flow through. You can see state of the art image generation capabilities using kind of like our proprietary pipelines. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know if Z, you kind of want to describe a little bit more about all this stuff right now while we wait for this thing to generate.
Yeah, I mean, we've got you know, both an image creator side where you generate images via prompts, just something very standard. That's our sort of starting point for people that want to get a very specific type of look for their character. So you would start there, and then you could turn that image into a character that preserves its likeness. Or you could kind of just create a character from scratch, which is what PicEc is doing right now. Additionally, we have what are called fantasies on our site, which allow you to place characters into different situations so that you can sort of play out certain things that you want to play out with that character. And yeah, lots users can create their own fantasies and characters, and we've got a huge community that's super active, you know, with over hundreds of thousands of characters and fantasies. So yeah.
Yeah, so because I've selected some of our newer image generation capabilities, sometimes the image generation does take a little longer, but I will paste like the final output into the chat when it's done. And you know, usually from there, people can kind of like directly create different fantasies. In this case, I made just like a male, 25-year-old male. And people use that almost as the different actors in different storylines. For example, people can now pick and choose the character that I created and kind of like use it in different scenarios. So yeah, that's it from us. If you guys have any other questions, I guess Stephen, Gail, and Kuda will make our contact information available to you guys.
Sweet, thanks, guys.
Thanks.
And you actually have a few questions in the chat you could probably answer sort of in parallel to the next prezo, but awesome, really fun, really exciting. Thanks for that. Helena, are you here? Can you please put your hand up as a Zoom reaction? I know that Helena had her, like, not just her home, but her neighborhood internet go out. So she was going to attempt to do this on her phone. Helena, can you put your hand up? Let's see if she's even still here. She's here. I'll unmute you to help facilitate.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you?
I tried to raise my hands multiple times, but seems like it doesn't work from my side. Can you see my hands is already up?
No. Can you maybe just search?
Good. I already made you a co-host, so you can.
Okay, cool. All right, guys. So let me know if you guys see my screen.
We can. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome. All right, cool. Thank you very much for having me. All right, so I know like we're running out of time, you know, so I try to be quick and easy and then, you know, wrap up the last session for us. Verisense, yes. So who we are. I'd like to just kind of introduce us a little bit. So we're a group of blockchain core devs with rich experience from a few major L1 protocols, such as Polkadot Substrate, Avalanche, ICP Near. We do have some, you know, research background from cryptography and AI, and academic background from Tsinghua University, Stanford University, Dartmouth College. Let's just, you know, get straight to what is Verisense. So Verisense is the world's first FHE-based active blockchain with secure autonomic bridgeless execution to any blockchain, extending the programmability and composability far beyond the smart contract. What does that mean? So it means that with Verisense, we can finally stitch with the Web2 applications or like, you know, the functionalities with Web3 tokenomics and then the incentivization. And we believe this is going to be like, you know, create some very interesting applications that you previously don't see from a general purpose L1. So I like to always go straight to the bottom. Let's put Verisense under Accelerator. Then you can see that we are very proud of the 3 core technologies. By the way, Stephen Kong and the audience, do you guys can see me, like, you know, the mouse is hovering around on the screen?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So I want to point it out. Usually a blockchain like Solana, Bitcoin, Ethereum, right? They with like some smart contract or very limited smart contract like to run the business logic on here, right? But what if we're able to have a extra layer that is so much more powerful? It is an active blockchain. Active blockchain means that a Verisense, basically kind of a revamp the underlying components of a blockchain and allowed active data input-output. So we're breaking the passiveness nature of the blockchain and remove the limitation of the smart contract entirely. And then the second component I want to point out is here, because we want to sync back, the execution results back to the base chain like native. So it means that it's 100% bridgeless, autonomic execution, and the stitching the previously isolated application with the token and assets a lot faster and more secure than most execution layer, which is our bridge based. Okay, so now we're already able to support Bitcoin ERC20 based blockchain and the Solana Tron near ICP. And thirdly is here, because often the execution layer are criticized for the obvious risk of not having enough security origin. And Verisense builds a very unique mechanism to offer AVS as a service, removing the vulnerability of the self-validation here. We actually also removes a lot of the major pain points of the current restaking flow. So we're hoping, to reignite the restaking AVS ecosystem here. So with that three components combined, Verisense is going to bring you some new applications that you probably don't see previously. So let's take a look here. We're already in the close conversation with some of the third-party teams. For example, one team is going to use Verisense as the underlying infrastructure to build a Uniswap type of DEX for BTC native assets, that including ordinal assets and room-based. And that also means, obviously, right, the Bitcoin native DeFi protocols is going to be coming out from Verisense. And then there's another team, they're actually building the decentralized OnlyFans with fans meme coins natively associated, integrated, all on Solana, with Verisense extended programmability capability. And then at the same time, this is a very interesting, because of the nature of our network, Verisense, can work very particularly suitable for AI agent, like a AI agent dedicated rollup. So it means like, the 100% decentralized. People might be wondering, asking me, right, like, why do you want to decentralize the AI agent? It's just because that AI agent's thinking process is a black box to human, and a decentralized AI agent have all the behaviors recorded on chain on day one, 100% transparency and honesty. So that brings some key benefits that a centralized AI agent couldn't offer. For example, human now can monitor, trace, and analyze AI agent's behavior on chain to make the wise judgment and avoid a bad actor, right? We see in today's demo, there's a couple like trading AI agents. So like empowered by Verisense underlying infrastructure, then you're able to kind of like, provide another layer of a trust for your AI agent. And also, for example, that, the AI agent the creator can be shielded from certain legal and compliance risk by having all the on-chain data displayed 100% transparency. And thirdly, let's think about an AI agent is wrongly terminated or impersonated, then the on-chain identity and the behavioral history can be very helpful. So this comes to the famous story of Skelly, right? A friend of Jean, who they together launched the idea of AI16Z, which is still centralized. So imagine if they can put it on Verisense, then that would be a lot more like, trustworthy to the human LPs. So here's our, I want to kind of a demo a little bit. Just give me a second. Let me try to share my, all right. Can you guys hear the voice over the video? Can you guys hear the voice over the video?
No, we can't hear the voice of the video.
Okay, that's fine. Then, luckily I have some subtitle here. So this is basically a kind of a AI autonomously managed knowledge sharing forum for Rust developer. Just because we already have this on our on the platform. So you will see when you landed in a AI agent is kind of a set rule for you, and then you feel free to ask him the question about Rust language, and he will answer with really good kind of qualities. But if you break the rules, then this AI agent is going to punish you. All right, so yeah. So this AI agent is setting up the rules for human visitors or any other AI agent file. Yeah, so now you feel free to write up anything and then do active behaviors that other AI agent couldn't, the other blockchain couldn't do. Everything's happened naturally on the AI on the Verisense network. Right, so that's a good use case. Some people asked the Rust language and it got answered. So the visitor likes that, cool. All right, so let's go to the second scenario. Let's say somebody ask a question that has nothing to do with the Rust language, which break the rules. All right. So AI agent identified, this has nothing to do with the Rust language. Yeah. Yeah, so sorry, but I still have to delete your post, right? Yeah, so we'll see that, this post is deleted. That means 100% AI agent autonomy here. All right, so we see the post disappears, right? Okay, that's it. This is a very simple stuff, but then the reason I want to show here, oh, screen sharing, stop share. Can I still, can you guys see my my slides again?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. So this is a small demo we just put together within 72 hours for today, but it shows the some core technologies that you see that one is this AI agent and all those kind of posting search, the posting the questions or search, right? Those are decentralized, all initiated by the nodes. And it's blockchain activeness and AI autonomy. If you guys go to our website or go to the YouTube channel, you can see the longer version of the video that basically shows how to boot up the network, right? And then build the AVS and initiate this kind of the AI agent, everything. Today we just show 2.5 minutes here. So the very next step is that we basically released our first testnet on Christmas Day last year. And now we're going to move forward to really building some interesting applications. There will be 2 applications that a Verisense team wants to kind of actively participate in. Of course, utilizing our networks. One is autonomy.world. It's basically just kind of like a AI agent creators freely launch the AI agent on chain and then experiment the concept of AgentFi. Remember that we're truly decentralized and then allow you to have the centralized AI agent performance at the same time natively stitched with the tokens. So for example, that each AI agent could be like launched together with a meme coin. So the meme coin is a lifetime asset of this AI agent, which creates a lot more incentivization for the AI agent creators. So that's how we come up with the AI agent creator economy concept. And then the second one is the Uniswap of the BTC native assets. And then thirdly, that we want to open up our network by offering more SDKs for third party to build their light apps. So the very next things that actually we're working with Eliza and Virtual and a couple other AI agent frameworks. So everybody else, developers can build their own AI agent or AgentFi products out of a box, something like autonomy.world. And then very quick, kind of a few slides to show that this is the Rust CC that we just moved, to the Verisense. It has about 7,000 users. Average page view is about currently 5,000 a day. And this is the short drama social platforms that going to launch on Verisense and natively stitch with the meme coins that associated with those contents. So going forward, those meme coins are going to have some real use case to support the value. They already did something like before Verisense. Look at that. This one has issued a meme coin called I am a crypto boss with 9,600 transactions. So those are something that we see that down the road is going to be really, really interesting. And this is kind of like the PSBT based native BTC native swaps that we're actually building on. So again, this is a little bit about Verisense. We're actually a highly technical project. So we have, a very unique consensus mechanism that published in a research paper on the Arvix and ResearchGate. We also have a Verisense white paper and a GitHub, open up so you guys can take a look. We've been very actively building. This is a little follow us on the Verisense at the Verisense very_sense on the Twitter, or you can just send an email to me if you guys want to get contact with us. We're actively raising, so feel free to reach out to us. That's
all
it.
right, Elena. Thank you so much for that. And that's a wrap. Thank you all for joining us. And just a reminder, we are still taking applications for Cohort 7. So I just wrote it in the chat. If you are starting a company, thinking about starting a company, and have at least one co-founder from the Stanford community,